Rebecca On. I'm a senior and my pronouns are she, her. Currently I'm taking AP Literature. I'm also taking Calc BC, AP Japanese Language and Culture, as well as Econ and Gov, and then AP Chemistry. I think my favorite class would be AP Lit. I mean, it's definitely one of the more difficult ones, but
For sure.
Miss DeSoto is such an awesome teacher, and my class is really fun, and we do Zumba and definitely like struggling through the senior research paper and AP test together. But yeah, it's a fun class. Organization is key, definitely. At least having an organized schedule and just like a to-do list every day really helped me, as well as just if you have enough energy for it, like managing your time, like properly setting aside maybe like an hour to do this homework or accomplish different tasks. I think that's like one of the most helpful things that I discovered this year. Okay, so kind of school related, I'm on the school site council. I've been on the site council for 3 years. I'm also a part of multiple clubs. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Wildcat Literary Magazine, and I'm also the president and founder of A Piacere, which is a little chamber group that we just play music for the community, and we're going to be playing at one of the fundraisers next coming week. And I'm also part of the K-pop dance club. I joined that recently this semester and we performed twice. That was pretty fun. And in addition, I'm also the secretary for the Japanese National Honor Society, as well as one of the like co-founders, there's 6 of us, of the Japanese Culture Club. It's like mandated by the government that each has, so basically we deal with like professional development grants. So we have a budget like about $35,000 this year, and so teachers would send in like their requests of different seminars or like learning camps, I guess, that they want to go to, and we decide whether to grant them that money or pass it on to like the Wildcat Foundation. And then we also are like the representatives in terms of like dress code. We recently were working on that, and then looking at like the site plan for student achievement, SIPSA, and then also like looking a little bit at the WASC plan and participating in that. I think Miss Grasti actually reached out to me in my sophomore year, or asking if I was interested, and so me, Rodrigo, and Avani, we were all kind of representing the seniors. I think learning basically how to collaborate with adults, because in the site council you aren't there as like teachers and staff and then students. It's more we're all equals, and just learning how to collaborate and get your opinion heard, and just basically have a discussion with others, and especially with something like as controversial, I suppose, as the dress code, just learning how to discuss like topics such as that. I'm the secretary in JNHS, but the thing is, the club is a little bit interesting in the fact that we're not, I guess, stuck to the traditional definitions of like secretary, treasurer, co-president, or anything like that. We kind of, there are those tasks, like for me, secretary, like sending out forms and links and all of that. But then we also collaborate. It's more of like a team effort. So basically just helping others wherever is necessary, like in planning the events. Like I found myself manning like the vendors and helping organize that. And then the co-presidents, they were emceeing, they were hosting the event. Our main events that we had were the Undokai, which is kind of like the Japanese sports festival, you know, like the ones that you see in anime where the whole like school gathers and they're cheering for everyone. Well, we had a little bit of a small scale event within the club, and so we did that on the lawn during the first semester, and that was pretty fun. I think it was a good kind of trial run for us officers, because it's our first time working together, just to get a feel of like the group and the club before our main event, which is the Haiku Holiday Film Fair. And there were some issues that popped up with the last event that we wanted to do, which is our boba sale. There were some legality issues with kind of fundraising laws that leadership or Mr. Nesper had just discovered, so we weren't able to do that this year, which was kind of a bummer. But circling back to the High Holiday Film Fair, that one turned out well. As always, that's the biggest event and the one that our club is, I guess, most renowned for. It's basically where we show a couple of films on the screen in the theater, and we have like vendors that might or may not be Japanese culture related, and just like having fun doing like trivia and such. I think making sure, like, in preparation for the event, we met basically the officers and senseis. We met like twice a week outside of the meetings, and then just talking about like the event and making sure we had the rights to like show the films and such. And then I felt I was also in the officer Discord, just making sure everyone was getting to the meetings and everyone was doing the jobs that they were assigned, and making sure that all of the jobs got assigned, because we had this task list, and just making sure that the papers are all set out. We filled out the work order. We also filled out the event form, such like that. Yeah, I think it would be, especially in the first semester, we focused more. We tried getting the group to feel more of like a community and like group bonding, and like the games and activities like we did. Like, for example, one meeting we did an onigiri sculpture challenge. So basically each group had like a little bit of rice and some like seaweed, and they would decorate it. And I remember that some people made like an octopus and like cats and stuff. It was really cute, and just like seeing how everybody came together as a group. And like we did a rice passing relay race with like uncooked granules of rice, and just seeing everybody get excited, that was really rewarding. The beginnings of Appia Cherry was last year in junior year during like December. It was kind of last minute. We decided that, well, it was a tradition, to preface, it was a tradition in our middle school orchestras that we would go play at the tree lighting ceremony, but unfortunately I wasn't able to take orchestra in my junior year, so I still wanted to keep up the tradition and like play Christmas music for the community. And so I gathered a couple of friends, and us and our unconventional quartet of 2 violas, 1 violin, and 1 cello, we went to the Basona Creek Healthcare Center and played, and I thought that was really fun. So that's why I decided to start the club, K-pop dance club. Yeah, I saw them perform at one of the talent shows. I think it was Friday Night Live, and I came to support one of my friends, Sarah, in the club, and I was like astounded. I was like, oh, that looks so fun. And it's been really nice getting back into dance and just joining with one of my friends, Lynn. Yeah, so it was nice to perform with everyone and just see like how much seeing our effort paying off, even though despite all of the challenges that we faced, like especially performing for the senior talent show, there are a lot of like felt very rushed, and we had learned the equivalent of 2 dances in like less than 2 weeks, but it was great. Basically, as the editor-in-chief, it's the equivalent of like the president of other clubs. So my main role is to run the meetings and just guiding feedback, because we like to provide some constructive feedback to submitters if they choose to, and as well as editing the magazine. So once the submission period has closed and we've gathered all of the submissions, we just kind of decide which ones to include. I'm in Adobe InDesign and just basically organizing the magazine, and then working with Miss McQuaid, our club advisor, to get that printed and distributed, as well as organizing like farmers market events. So we like to go out and then try and sell a couple of our magazines to the community there. And we recently hosted a poetry workshop with the Lascatus Poet Laureate, Jen Saraganian, which was really nice. So the Japanese Culture Club, it was kind of like a pilot or like something to test run this year because it didn't exist previous years, but we wanted to create a club that could kind of be some like a elementary step from Japanese 1 to Japanese 2, because you become eligible to join the Japanese National Honor Society in Japanese 2. So that means it's basically, it's a transition like from Japanese 1 it's a transition for Japanese 1 students as well as other people who aren't part of the Japanese class community, for them to experience like Japanese culture. And we wanted it to be more culture related, and so while we watch anime, we tried doing some crafts and stuff, but there are definitely things that I think that the new officers for next year will learn from and just improve the club to make it even more authentic. I think definitely it's communication and just being very clear to your officers what is expected, and also being able to communicate with your club advisor or teachers. And just in addition to being a leader, it's also knowing when to step back and just like collaborate with others and learn how to share and divide the work amongst the other officers and members. I used to work 2 part-time jobs. I began senior year working 2 part-time jobs. It was pretty hectic, but we made it work. I worked at Tea Fermata as a drink maker, and I recently had to stop that job because my hands, the tendons in my hands were really bothering me, and I needed to be able to play cello. So I'm just kind of like an emergency worker for them. And my second part-time job is I'm a private cello teacher, and so right now I have 3 students, and I'm really excited for them and seeing that they're growing and just their progress in their musical journey. I think it's when you're limited for time, you become more efficient. You naturally become more efficient because you're more aware that you have less time to do things. For Tea Fermata, I worked the weekend shifts. I was the opener, and then occasionally I would work maybe a couple hours during the week. And for teaching private lessons, I worked maybe 2 hours a week total, like excluding driving time and such. Battling burnout, like I was just very tired, and also just situations at work had been relationships with certain coworkers were not what I had expected when taking the job. So yeah, during COVID I had wanted to get more like explore different art avenues, and I decided to start dabbling in like shrinky dink jewelry making and just like resin, like using resin with them. For me, like my love language is gift giving, like especially homemade gifts, and so that's why I really enjoy making like Sanrio pins recently. Like that was a recent craft, or just like crocheting a top for my friend for her birthday, like that type of thing, because creating gives me so much joy, as well as just like learning how to create new things. And if I can make a couple of bucks off of that, that's cool. But I just really love like putting my heart into like drawing, even if my hands are like really shaky nowadays. But yeah, it's just pure joy. I have been in the orchestra basically since I started playing cello. That was in 4th grade. So I've been with San Jose Symphony for like 8 years, which is a lot, just like progressing throughout the different levels. Now I'm in the Philharmonic Orchestra. This is my 4th year, my last year. I'm very fortunate to have been able to experience outside orchestra, and last year we were able to go to the Baltics But yeah, it was because previous years we had to postpone it because of COVID, but we were able to play symphonic dances by Rachmaninoff, which was an amazing experience. It was amazing, and I don't think that I'll experience anything like that ever again. This year, because we're not touring, it's been a little bit slower. It's still fun. It's nice to be able to spend time with my friends that go to different schools, like Willow Glen High School or like a charter school or something. We have 3 concerts, and each week we have a 3-hour rehearsal on Monday nights, same place. It's been the same place for like forever, but occasionally we have additional rehearsals on the weekends. Yeah, last month we had an extra 5-hour rehearsal, so yep. One of my favorite moments that happened, like excluding tour, would be reuniting with some friends. We had gotten separated because they were a year older than me, but when I was able to join Philharmonic, it was really nice to reconnect with them and meet with the new friends that they had made. Alright, I'm going to go to Santa Clara University, and I'm going to be majoring in biology. Definitely like the alumni network and being able to gain close connections with the faculty and just other like medical practitioners hopefully around me, because I foresee myself staying around the Bay Area as of now, and so it would be nice to get a head start on gaining connections around here. Try new experiences. Definitely find something that you genuinely love to do or that you're passionate about, and even if that's doesn't really work with your academic schedule, like for example being a creator is really demanding, it's like time consuming, like art, just like drawing and like sewing and stuff, but try and find like little moments of time in the day where you can just kind of unwind and relax and maybe just get a little bit ahead in that project that you've been working on instead of just like leaving it in the corner to gather dust. But I would say that's really important.